In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to make donut French toast with fresh blueberries. Welcome to the Water Bucket Homestead. To get started with this recipe, I'm going to crack open the 3 eggs and mix them up. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups whole milk. I don't have whole milk, but I always keep heavy cream on hand. I like to make homemade whipped cream, but you can use half part heavy cream, half part water to make a milk consistency. So we're just going to put 3/4 cup heavy cream. And then I'll add 3/4 cup water. The other thing I'm going to add into the milk, I think I'm going to combine the eggs into it. Give that a little stir. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And it requires 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. So we'll just put about 1/2 teaspoon. Give that a mix. So in your baking dish, you're going to grease it with butter or coconut oil. And then you take your donuts. I bought mine from my local apple orchard. These are blueberry flavor. But you're just gonna break up your donut into little pieces and put that in the dish. If you have a cider mill near you, you can buy donuts and freeze your donuts so that you can enjoy this dish throughout the year. The recipe calls for 4 to 6 donuts, so I usually buy 1/2 I get to eat 1 donut and then I save the rest for this dish. Sometimes the cider mills will sell day-old donuts, and since they're still good a day old, they just don't taste the same. They're not, they're best when you eat them right away. So you can buy those at an affordable price and then freeze them and use them for this recipe. I'm going to give the mixture 1 more stir, and you just pour this over the dish. We're going to place this in the refrigerator and let it soak overnight. And then tomorrow morning, I'm actually going to try something new and add fresh blueberries to it, and then we'll bake it. I had about a handful or 2 of blueberries on top of the dish. My dish is cold, so I placed it in the oven before I preheated it, so that way it kind of warms up as the oven warms up. You're going to put it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake this for at least 40 minutes. Here's the final product. I was going to put the blueberries in while I was letting the donuts soak overnight, and by looking at how they sit on top going forward, that's what I will do. You're going to add fruit, let it soak overnight with the donuts and mixture. In the recipe called for some sort of sugar or syrup or honey, and I don't put any in there because usually the donuts I use are cinnamon spice, so they're already sweet enough. In this case, I'm going to take a test, and if it's not sweet, you can always add maple syrup on top of it. I didn't wait for it to cool down a little bit, so the first piece came out a little messy. That is okay. And from one taste, I personally don't think it needs any syrup, but again, if you have more of a sweet tooth, you could always add the syrup afterwards. I just prefer not to use any sugar when first baking it, because usually the donuts are sweet enough. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Comment down below and let me know if you try it.